Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. The grand finalists for Masters Tokyo have been confirmed. A rematch of our winners finals. Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses after a crazy victory they had against PaperX just a couple of hours ago. Ethan giving a challenge to Boaster as well and saying, look, let Fracture through and we'll give you a challenge. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate. Let's dive straight in. Firstly, another teaser from Deadlock. Sova's made it to the location, so they're going to soon find out what's going on here. You know, I've kind of given up with this story at this point. Also from EDG, thought was quite nice. A lot of these guys getting pictures with other teams that they've either played or eliminated or come up against, and of course are going home a little bit earlier than they would like to. But yeah, plenty of teams flying out of there already. There was also this that was confirmed yesterday, the Pacific Ascension format. So we saw what happened in the EMEA side and in the Americas just yesterday with the way the bracket is playing out, and this is what they're doing in this region. So it's difficult to say who the favourites are here. I think a lot of people are looking at D+, and they're looking at Bleed, both in Group Omega, that are potentially looking pretty good. So they're both in Group Omega there, and the way this is going to go is they do a single round robin best of 3, and in this group, only top 3 advance. We saw in the Americas, they've got 3 teams per group, and all of them advance. It's just a matter of seeding, whereas here, there's single round robin best of 3, 5 teams, and the top 3 advance into the bracket as follows, with, you know, number 1 seed gets a bye through to the semi-finals, and this is kind of how it works in the other regions as well, where you go from 6 teams down to 1, and the winner qualifies. So probably Bleed are going to be the favourites here, but there's a lot of top teams in this, and well, a lot of, you know, people are saying don't underestimate some of the Group Alpha teams as well. So we'll see how that one goes. There was also a bit of drama emerging last night between Lothar and Derke discussing Jett in general. We do see a lot of Jett in play at the moment, and that's not necessarily a massive surprise. Ever since Chamber was gone, another agent was needed that could actually run the operator, and we do see a lot of Jett. Is it that Jett's too strong, or is it just that Jett is the only viable option for that specific role? Lothar reckons, IMO, Jett is a bit too strong. My nerf ideas reckons that she should be nerfed. Running speed with ult equip equal to pistol speed instead of knife speed, which is an interesting idea. Okay, fair enough. I mean, we see Demon 1 making some nice highlights. Gliding only active for 15 seconds after updraft. So a couple of small nerfs that could be happening, but Derke deeply disagrees. Why is Jett so strong in your opinion that she needs another nerf? Because she got nerfed a fair bit a while ago. The reason she gets insta-locked a lot is mostly because of the mobility, and that she's the only agent that can op aggressively enough, which works perfectly on ranked to carry the games. But people never want to learn how to counter that with flashes, prowlers, stuns, recons, drones, mollies, smokes, etc. Her Jett knives got balanced a few times already and already requires skill, unlike most of the other ultimates in the game. Her running speed with knives is fine. Ults are made to be strong and be careful of them. Nerfing the gliding for me just feels like it's another just nerf something in her reaction, because most of the players are getting stomped for not knowing how to use utility against her and running into her op thinking they are TenZ. So quite the same would already hear from Derke saying that in his opinion it's perfectly well balanced, and it's always tricky to compare how things balance on the pro level to how they balance in ranked play, right? Because in ranked, Jett is very strong and is used all the time because, as he says, people don't really know how to counter her particularly well. So in those type of games, Jett is going to be very powerful, but in pro play it's a bit different, right? So and obviously you want to balance the game theoretically, if you're right, for how the game is going to be played at the very highest level, and if that trickles down in a different way to the ranked modes, then it is what it is type thing. So Derke's opinion is going to be a bit different to those that play a lot of ranked and see the game played in a slightly different way, but just one interesting conversation to look at. There was also this from Sentinels, pretty funny really. Sentinels have reached an agreement with Tarik to be the 6th man for the LCQ. The agreement is that it's not going to happen, so no Tarik there unfortunately, but yeah, so they're not going to necessarily need a 6th man Sentinels. Sick recently was actually removed from the contract database, which implies that he's no longer their 6th man, but I think they should be fine Sentinels with just the 5 that they have, and supposedly, according to Cloud9, they're looking really good lately, Sentinels, in terms of their run going into the last chance qualifier. Let's talk Masters Tokyo then, the result that we just saw. Look at the queue as well, absolutely mega here. So the Japanese crowd is coming different as always. This, of course, was the losers finals. Winner of this makes the grand finals to play Fnatic, the pre-tournament favourites, and the massive, overwhelming favourites in the finals. But this series was pretty wild, right? I mean, you've got PaperX paperX, Jing, and Co. That coming up against an Evil Geniuses team that's been so, I mean, it's so remarkable, right? And Potter did an interview where she said that so many other players that she signed here were last options for them. They had been passed up by many of the other franchises, and their only option was to come to Evil Geniuses. And, you know, she kind of used that as fuel to those guys to say, look, we're in this together, we've got progress to be made, and it's not going to be easy, but we can do it. And, I mean, the Demon 1 change was clearly inspired, and since then, the rest of the team has taken a massive step up. Jing, though, and paperX are so much fun to watch, and honestly, massive credit to these guys making it this far in the tournament. It's incredibly impressive to me how they've, you know, without something, right? They're coming without something. Many people are putting them like 10th best in the world, right? Because, or at least in this tournament, because many people thought, right, paperX are probably top 2, top 3 team in the entire world with something, but without something, with cigarettes instead, you'd probably think that they're not in a good position. But it doesn't matter for these guys. Cigarettes comes in, does an incredible good job. 10 days of practice pretty much with a streamer substitute player. It's incredible how well it's worked out for them, and it does make me wonder, come champions, what could be possible for these guys. I mean, look at this from Cigarettes as well, with the 4K to open up the first round of map 5. It had gone down to the wire here at this point, and paperX, they just ran a little bit out of steam in this game 5. It was a super competitive series, back and forth. It was 1-0 for I think it was 1-0 EG. Then paperX came back and won the next 2 maps to take it to 2-1 in their favor. Then EG bounced back with 2 nice maps to close out the series. And look at this as well. We've got 21 HP here on Dephh, and Com comes round. The chance was there, but Com gets the kill. And 13-8. You can see what it means to Boostio and these guys to make it back to the grand finals. And here's some of the reaction.
35 seconds.
Yeah, get in. Oh, it's too late. Com's not in yet.
Who's inside?
Could be the difference maker here.
He's one. He's playing sewers. Oh, you're not going through CT. That's a save slow.
4 positions gained.
Oh,
TP.
Nice.
Showing up those
Headshot angle.
Oh, he wants time for the
Good blind, good blind.
Nice.
Huge, he's got a smoke.
He's in the
No, he
action.
can't
He's
use
in the
it.
fight, and players
Choke.
are might just be able to
Oh my god.
No.
Com's got a classic. Device 21 HP.
in the series.
How many classic shots?
Hold on.
He slowed it all the way down.
Oh my god.
He's in his ticket, no time.
He's going to the grand finals. Holy fuck.
Holy fuck.
That was insane.
Holy.
Oh, dude.
EG's story of getting here is just getting crazier and crazier by the day.
So what a story from Evil Geniuses, right? It would have been a great story either way. If paperX had made it, that would have been phenomenal, but I still think they did way better than I thought they would do without something in their roster. So that does make me very confident that paperX come champions, hopefully if something is there. And look, Cigarettes did a great job, but he's not quite something who is arguably the best player in the entire Pacific region right now, and it would work incredibly well with that team. I mean, paperX won their own region against DRX. Let's not forget about that. And again, they placed the best placing team in their region once again this tournament. So it's, yeah, Pacific as a region still never quite getting the job done at these major tournaments. It's again going to be between the Americas and the EMEA side, and we probably know who's going to win this, right? But still, Ethan's looking for revenge. Insane we made the finals, and what a run from EG. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought going into this tournament, especially with the storylines, that this would be, you know, the battle for the grand finals. I think the Fnatic in the grand finals is no real surprise, and it felt like this match was kind of a battle to get second, right? Because Fnatic are probably going to win with the advantages they will have in the grand finals, but we'll come to that in a second. Something says, GG's my guys, you've done great in this tournament. Time to get a bit of rest before champions. So yeah, hopefully there's no issues with the visas and stuff as a Russian player getting to Tokyo. Obviously wasn't going to happen. They tried, they failed, it wasn't going to happen, but hopefully they can get it sorted for him to go to champions, because they certainly need him, I think, if they want to actually win something, and they've got a couple of months to figure it out. So surely they can find a way. You would at least be hopeful they can do that. So yeah, very impressive. I'm guessing something is going to be back in for champions. Hopefully we'll get confirmation in the next, you know, several weeks that he's going to get his visa sorted and they're going to be fine. And I imagine after this tournament they'll go back and they'll start practicing again with something in the expectation that he's going to be there. So definitely a dangerous team, incredibly exciting team to watch. But in the same vein, what a run from EG. They finished the Americas League with a 4-5 record. They were almost not making playoffs. Thanks to MIBR they made it. They turn up to this tourney 2-0 against Foot Esports, 2-0 2-0 DRX, 2-0 Loud, 2-0 Liquid, lost to Fnatic 2-1, and then 3-2'd PaperX to make it back to the grand finals. These were the overall numbers here. So game 1 was Fracture, of course, that was a 13-7 W for Evil Geniuses. Demon 1 top fragging, 68% headshot rate on the Brimstone. I mean, he finally had a great series. He almost up to 100 kills. I think he had 99. Yeah, look at that. 99 from Demon 1. He hasn't really had to do, which is crazy to say, that much so far this tournament, but he really turned up when it mattered. Lotus went 14-12 the other way. It was then 13-10 on Split to PaperX, but then 13-6 on Pearl and 13-8 on Ascent. And I think this will again show very clearly what a player Demon 1 is, but also what Fnatic should look to do, because the two maps they won most comfortably here were Fracture and Pearl, the two maps that more than likely we are going to see get banned by Fnatic in the grand final. So tomorrow morning, another best of 5, Fnatic Evil Geniuses for the trophy. The match they had before was a 2-1, really close fought affair this one. Lotus, of course, was 13-3 dominance. Fracture was 13-9 to Evil Geniuses, and then Split was that crazy 13-11 that they almost could have at least sent to overtime EG, but it didn't happen. But Fracture is unlikely to be in the grand final series. Fnatic, by winning that previous series, they get the advantage of having all the 5 maps that they will play. There's no map advantage, it starts from 0-0, but they get to ban at 2 maps of their choosing, and I will guess that they will get rid of Fracture and they will get rid of Pearl. That is what I would expect to happen, but it's still, as Eaton says, let Fracture through, you won't at Fnatic, because I think that honestly, EG, they need Fracture in that pool if they want to win, to be honest. And if Fnatic take things 100% serious, as they should, then Fracture will be gone, and it seems at that point like a massive uphill battle for Evil Geniuses. Maybe they can still do it, but it's going to be a big challenge. So very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.